How does helicopter parenting affect children? Have you wondered that? I'm Nicholeen Peck, and I teach all over the world about parenting, good communication, how to build strong family bonds, child development, and education, all through the lens of the principle self-government. And in this video, we're talking about helicopter parenting. So in this video, we're going to talk a little bit about what helicopter parenting looks like, and then what it does to the children, and what we should probably do instead. So what is helicopter parenting? Helicopter parenting is when you're hovering like a helicopter over your child. You're watching everything, micromanaging everything, listening to everything. Ooh, don't touch that. Don't put that in your mouth. Don't do that. Put that over there. Wait, your hair's a mess. Go do it again. Everybody's going to helicopter a little bit different things. Some people, it might be hygiene things like wash your hands again. Go wash your hands. If your finger went in your nose, go wash your hands again. Those types of things. And then there's some people that helicopter like other things that aren't manners related. It's like, do that, do that, do that. Don't do that when it comes to maybe like putting things away and messes and stuff like that. So should children learn hygiene? Yes, they absolutely should. Should they learn how to do tasks and clean up and develop a sense of cleanliness, meaning they like it and want it for their future life? Yes, that would be good too, because then you enjoy being around them and other people will enjoy being around them too. But can it go too far? That's what we're really talking about. When people talk about helicopter parents, it's a derogatory term, okay? Let's just be clear about that. That just means that you're managing over too many things. There is a delicate balance between making sure that you monitor what's going on, but not controlling everything, not making it so that the person feels like they're under a magnifying glass all the time and they have to worry about whether they did something that made you proud every second of the day. So we should teach our children certain things, certain skills to follow through. We should teach them boundaries, what to touch, what not to touch. We should teach them the basics of hygiene and all of these things. And we should ensure that they learn to do hygiene in the moment when they need it. But there is a difference in the tone between teaching, instructing, guiding, directing, and helicoptering. Okay, and being right there and never allowing any mistake to happen. I think that's the biggest thing, is that the helicopter parent doesn't want to deal with a mistake. They don't want to have any mistakes happen. They want it to be perfect the first time. Maybe they're a perfectionist. I don't know. I have a book for that. Actually, there's a book I've written about calmness that has a whole chapter in it on perfectionism and how to help yourself with that. Anyway, so look at The Power of Calm if you know somebody who might need that. But a parent can do teaching. So let's talk about the effects on the child, and then we'll talk about what good teaching a parent can do so that they don't have to fall into helicopter parenting. If children are helicopter parented, sure, they'll learn their boundaries, they'll learn their hygiene, and all of those things that are really important, but they will also learn that they're doing it for someone else, not for themselves. They won't necessarily buy into it. They're doing it because of somebody's anxiety. They will be learning that they must make changes because somebody else has an anxiety of some sort, that they have to bend to solve somebody's problem. It's emotionally manipulative to be constantly controlling everything all the time. And parents, we've got to show that we trust the learning process. A child may not trust the learning process. In fact, if you micromanage everything so that they are perfect at everything every time, first time out of the chute, you're taking away their opportunity to learn through mistakes, which then means they're going to expect themselves to be perfect all the time. And what are they going to do when they get to high school or college and recognize they're not the smartest one, they aren't perfect? How are they going to face themselves? Because this is a thing that happens, that some people get really down. They get depressed when they can't have everything just right because it's always been just right. Now, I'm a clean person. I have to say, I'm a very clean person. And my husband is a super clean person too. So, you come to our house, it's going to be clean most of the time. But we really try not to get anxious about the cleanliness, right? We try to make sure that when other people are over, like our grandchildren, that we still say, hey, they can play, they can do. Now, if they're going to get hurt or maybe damage some property, then we might say, oh, let's talk about this. That's a no answer. We don't touch that. We're going to tell them about it, and we're going to make sure they understand the boundary, make sure we get some good eye contact on that instruction, but we're not going to be nagging and monitoring every second of the day. We're going to trust that they're going to learn to do it, and if not, we're going to be there to correct. I think sometimes people helicopter parent because they actually don't know how to do a good correction. So I'd like to help you with that today. So when you're teaching your children, teach them the skills that they need for success. So I have a whole parenting course. It's called the TSG Parenting Course. And in that course, I train parents on how to teach their children self-government. Also, the biggest part of the course is teaching the parents how to have self-government, because oftentimes the parents actually aren't very regulated. They aren't accepting no answers when their children do things that they wish they didn't have to handle, stuff like that. They need the skills of self-government. So these children's books here each teach one of the 4 basic skills of self-government, which are how to follow instructions, accept no answers and criticism, accept consequences, and disagree appropriately. When a person learns these 4 basic skills, that takes care of 99% of their behavioral problems. So teaching skills is a big part of learning self-mastery. We learn them ahead of time, and then you follow through with the child with the correcting. So the correcting part and how to actually teach these to the children, and how to set up an environment where self-government can be taught, that's all taught in my TSG parenting course. But these books here help the children learn the skills, and then they reinforce them in the moment as you're reading them to them. But let's talk a little bit about the skill of correction. Once we teach these 4 basic skills to the children, then when they don't do one of the steps of the 4 basic skills, then we need to do a correction. And we've got to be prepared for how to do that. A helicopter parent would be hovering, waiting to tell the child no at any second. I'm going to tell the child no. I'm going to remind them how to accept their no answer, which is to look at the person or the situation, keep a calm face, voice, and body, say okay or ask to disagree appropriately, and then drop the subject, which means we don't think about it again. We don't touch it again. We practice looking at it and going, that's a no. I'm not going to touch it. Even when they're little, we practice that. When they're older, it's a lot easier to just be like, drop the subject. Don't think about that anymore. So I tell them the no answer, and then I go about my day. And they go about their day. But then if they don't drop the subject, if they touch it again, if they do whatever it is again, then I do a correction. I say, okay, well, just now, I always start with a description statement that keeps me from doing a reaction statement, which is not self-governed to do. So I start telling a story. This keeps me calmer. So I say, just now, or a few minutes ago, I gave you a no answer about eating the cookies. And so you looked at me, you kept a calm face, voice, and body. You said, okay. And then you walked away. Now I walked back into the room and I see you are eating the cookies, which means you did not drop the subject. So you see how I've told the story. I did not make it emotional at all. So that's really important. Really self-governed parents don't weave their own emotions into all the training all the time for their children. They keep it about the children so that the children can make choices and they can learn the cause and effect of their choices and how it relates to them. So anyway, I would say, so since you chose to not drop the subject and take bites out of a cookie anyway, then right now you are, even though you're enjoying that company, you've lost some trust with me, because that's one of those natural consequences of doing taking something like that without asking, especially when you've been told not to. What you should have done is you should have dropped the subject. When you kept thinking about the cookie, you should have told yourself, don't think about the cookie anymore. I'm going to go and do something else. So you see my first 3 steps. What did they do? Why wasn't it good for them? What should they have done instead? Step number 4 is now the negative consequence. So since you chose not to drop the subject and accept that no answer properly, then you have earned an extra chore. And I almost always use an extra chore because work is the antidote for a sick character, according to Samuel Smiles. And he is a 19th century philosopher who is just such a wise man. So he said that in his book, Character. It's also something that a person accepts that they do, and they do need to get the opportunity to accept their consequences to actually learn self-government. So I give them that chance. I praise them for accepting the consequence. Then we do some practices of things the right way. So we role play practice accepting no answers. They get praises for each of those role plays. Then they're getting praised multiple times during this one corrective teaching moment. So it's actually a positive moment to have a correction. I think a lot of helicopter parents don't correct their children because they think it's negative and they don't have a negative moment with their child. So they're just going to make sure that everything goes right. Well, who says corrections have to be a negative moment? In fact, you can feel closer to your children during and after a correction than you even did before. So why not just teach them how you're going to correct them and then follow through and do it calmly every time. Calmness is key to all of it. In fact, I'd love to help you with your calmness so that you don't feel a need to helicopter parent, because maybe it's your own anxieties that are leading to that helicopter parenting in the first place. So I have a free gift for you right now. It is my Teaching Self-Government Calm Parenting Toolkit. It is right now on my website, teachingselfgovernment.com, on the homepage for free. So go to teachingselfgovernment.com, get the Calm Parenting Toolkit. It's an introductory training to some skills of calmness that will help you get started on your road to self-government and calmness. I'll see you there.